Good evening everyone and welcome to Great Deltan. Today is a layout update for September to cover all the work that's been progressed on the layout in the last month. To start with, just a couple of announcements. Number one, I finally hit 300 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who follows and subscribes to the channel. Obviously you're what this is all about, so thank you for that. A bit of a milestone. I didn't think I'd quite get to this point so soon, but thank you very much. And the second announcement is that I've now started an Instagram page for photos, so I will stick that in the link in the description, and if you'd like to go over there and follow me, I'll be posting a few photos of the layout every now and then, so I'll stick that in the link. A main scope of the work that has been done has been on the track detail. That's obviously been covered mainly by another video, but last time I left that I'd just finished putting in all the pre-ballast details, the ones that would either be buried or sunk in around the ballast, and now I have finished all the ballasting, but there's a couple of little bits of tidying up I need to do with it. There's some areas where the ballasting hasn't gone so well and I've been a bit aggressive with the glue, so I just need to tidy all this up and then I'll be ready to stick on the after ballast details. Something I'm quite happy with that's turned out from that video is the completion and construction of the signal gantry. I think that went quite well, and obviously there's another video if you'd like to see how I built that. But overall I'm quite happy with the track detail so far, and I think everything is fairly going to plan. One of the first things that I got round to doing before I started the track detail was the expansion of this control panel. Originally I just had these three switches for my 3-point motors, and now I've incorporated this switch which will turn on all the signal lights. These 4 switches will control and turn on other areas of lighting on the layout, and all these are for my signals. These are just toggle on switches, and the whole lighting circuit is controlled by a 12-volt DC supply which I bought from Amazon. So there was obviously room for expansion there, and I've now wired in the final point motor and obviously wired it up, and it's all working correctly. I have also begun the mission of starting the layout lighting. I've just began with this one yard light which I got from PD Models just to test it out. I've wired it into the lighting circuit, and there's a lot more plans for lighting on the layout, but for now I just wanted to test this one and see how it looks. I'll pop a picture in there just so you can see how it looks. But for now, just the one light will be added, and then I will start lighting up this area fully by replacing all the dummy lampposts with working ones, and then eventually the whole layout hopefully will have some sort of lighting everywhere. As you might have guessed, there's been a few new additions in terms of stock to the layout. Number one, over the far right here, these 6 or 7 wagons I've bought, they were from my local model shop, who are currently having a second-hand N-gauge sale, since someone has part exchanged all of their N-gauge stock in that model shop and they're selling it fairly cheap. So I bought those wagons just to extend the rake that goes on the back of the steam loco. I don't tend to run it too often, but when I do it's nice to have a long rake on the back. Next in the bay platform are the EWS open wagons. Now these again I bought from the model shop on the second-hand sale. I'm probably going to start a rake of those or combine them with the 46-ton wagons that I already have, and they'll look nice going behind any of my EWS locomotives. Sitting in platform 2 is the ScotRail Class 170 by Graham Farish. I bought that from Hatton's on the pre-owned page, and it's DCC fitted already, which is quite handy as the old Graham Farish stock don't have sockets, so it's a bit of a job to convert it. Now I've sold my Cross Country Class 170, which was a 2-car unit, and the plan for this train is to use the Electrorail transfers and convert it into cross country, making it a 3-car cross country, as Graham Farish do not sell a 3-car 170 in cross country. I have no use for a ScotRail locomotive on this layout. It's not sort of the area I'm modelling, so The only reason I bought that loco was for the transformation into a cross country. And sitting in platform 1 is the cross country Voyager by Dapol, but with its new 5th coach. I asked the question on a model railway trading group, and lo and behold, someone was selling one at a fairly good price. And I believe the 5th coach by Dapol is quite a rare product, so I've been told. Even when they were in general retail, they were quite hard to find. So I'm amazed that I managed to find one second hand for a good price. So, but it does make all the difference. I think a 5-car Voyager looks far better than the 4-car. So I was quite happy with that. Next, a couple of other updates on the stock. I've been experimenting with tacky wax a bit after the failure to convert my Graham Farish couplings to Hunt couplings. They just did not work because they're on the bogies and they just turn with the bogies, and as soon as they go around any set track curve they just derail. So I've been experimenting with tacky wax and it works a treat on the MBA wagons. That's the stuff I use. Deluxe. It's worked a treat on the MBA wagons, and I'll soon to be putting it on the intermodal wagons as they have a habit of uncoupling as well. Last on the stock subject, I have put in an order for the Revolution Trains Class 321 in London Midland livery. They're just about finished taking orders now. I think the 20th of September is the last date to get an order in for those. So I've managed to get mine in. London Midland livery is sort of the area and the era that I'm modelling, so that will come in quite nice, and they're due to be in production 2nd or 3rd quarter of next year, so it'll be a nice surprise. So looking ahead into the future, the first job I will finish is the track detail and the weathering of it from the branch line all the way to the station area. I'm about 1/3 of the way through. I have quite a lot of details I'd like to add now that the ballasting is complete, but once that's done I think that will look the part and it will add a lot of realism and interest to the railway. So once all the track details are complete, I can finally move on to beginning the construction of something that I look forward to since I started the layout, which is the station. I've already constructed the platforms, however the platform surface might change depending on how I feel about what sort of station I'd like. Now I feel like I want to loosely model it off Rugby Station, which has a different platform surface to what you see here. Something I will be doing regardless of what platform surface I use is redoing the edging to the platform. At the minute it's just painted on. It doesn't look particularly neat and it doesn't look very realistic at all. So what I've done is I've ordered some scale model scenery, tactile paving and some slabs, and I'll just line the edges of the platform with that, and that'll look far more realistic and detailed. So moving on from the station, once that's all finished, which is a long way in the future, I'll be adding the station car park down here, and then I'll have a little maintenance depot here just for the permanent way workers and network rail engineers, and then what you see here is the bridge which will come over the railway and follow this line down here all the way to the station drop off area, and that will complete that 1/3 of the layout. And then the last bit of the layout will be this area here. Now I've decided I'm not keeping the sidings here or any of these points, that's all going, and I'm just going to have a straight track running through, as I've now decided that I don't particularly want to build all that. I'd rather use this area for something bigger. Now I've got two options that I'm thinking in my head. I can raise all of this and have the branch line tunnelled and then connect it to the road network up here. However, that would sort of skew the axis of viewing for the main line at the back. It would be a bit blocked from view, so I'm not sure if I'd like to do that. And the other option is obviously just having all this flat and having either a level crossing or a bridge over the railway then. And finally, before I leave you, I'll just go through a few little side projects that I'll be going on during the construction of the layout. First one is obviously the layout lighting. I'll start with the factory area, and then I'd like to add a couple of lights up in the farm area. The branch line area is going to be difficult as that's obviously elevated, and I need to find some way to put all the wires down, disguise them and route them, and somehow put them in all the buildings as well, so that might be left unlit. The town scene is still removable, so that shouldn't be too difficult to add lights to, and then the station I'll be adding lights as I go. The next side project I've got going on is a back scene. Obviously the shed skin is light, but it's not quite realistic as I'd like it to be, and plus it reflects a lot off the camera, so hopefully with the addition of a back scene it will look a bit better and I might get a bit of a better video quality. I've got these Gauge Master back scenes, I need another 2, and then I'll be lining all 4 sides with them, which brings me on to the next project, this overpass. I'll be just adding a bit of ballast and some basic scenery around the edge with the back scene, and I'm going to use that as a loco photography area for when I finish weathering them, which is the next project eventually. Obviously I've invested in an airbrush recently and I'd like to get competent with using it so I can weather my stock and my locos to a sort of semi-professional standard, so that will look a lot better on the layout rather than their pristine condition at the minute. Coach lighting is another thing I'd like to get on with. I've obviously put one of the light bars in the HST coaches, but I'll be watching a few videos. I've seen one by Piccadilly Model Railway which has got some good tips on lighting the 350s especially, so I'll be getting on with that. And then far in the future I'll look into loco drivers and passengers for my stock, some wagon loads, and then putting on all of the wagon and loco detailing packs. So that's all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this layout update and where it's going. Thank you again for the 300 subscribers mark. I'm quite happy with that. And you should join me next time for the track detail part 2. I'll leave you now with some running shots of the new stock on the layout.